Hello, hello. So today we're going to be doing some Unreal streaming of TransmuTowers development. This is my first one in a while. Been trying to do this new stream elements thing, if anyone's interested. I need to check to make sure that it's working. Ooh, so Twitch is not up, even though it said I was. We're going to test a chat message too. Let's see how YouTube's doing then. YouTube says I am in fact live. Oh, it's using my old thing. It shows 2 live streams, which is pretty crazy. Let's take a peek. Let's see how YouTube's doing then. YouTube seems to be fine. I'm going to test chat there too and see what chats I end up getting. Oh, interesting. It live. Oh, it's using my old thing. It shows 2 live streams, which is pretty crazy. Let's take a peek. YouTube seems to be fine. I'm going to test chat there too and see what chats I end up getting. Oh, interesting. It. Oh, it's using my old thing. It shows 2 live streams, which is pretty crazy. So the second YouTube one that I'm seeing here looks like it's supposed to go to YouTube Shorts, but it doesn't appear to be. Can I like manage that somehow? Yep, so it seems like Twitch is not happy with what I'm doing. One thing that I've noticed, and I can kind of show everybody here, is like when I select the software and game development category, which is the one I want to be in, and then I update, when I come back to this, it's going to be gone again, which I think is the problem. And it might not like the fact that I'm sending it 4K, so maybe I had to like unlock that as like a better, more active streamer or something. So let me try that too. So I'll kill the Twitch one. I gotta close this. Let's kill the Twitch one, and like let's set its canvas to the default canvas, which is only 1080p, which I'm assuming they're gonna let me stream 1080p right off the bat. Okay, so it is showing, you can see here, it is showing, in fact, that I am in software and game development now, but everything is black. But that definitely should not be the case. Ooh, stream start was aborted. Okay, let's try that again. We're gonna authorize for my account. Here it's asking me for category again. Okay, cool. You had to like select the category inside the app again. It asks you like 3 times. And then let's see if that's good enough. And there we go. We're live on Twitch too. So that's good. Let's see if I have sound on Twitch. And I do. So I guess part of it is let's make this stream about making the stream work first, and then we'll go on to the game development itself. So you can see here I have 2 streams. One thing I noticed is that it's got my old TransmuTowers something. Oh, that's interesting. There's like an old upcoming one that was scheduled back then. That's kind of interesting that it's even there. I don't think I did that, but I must have done that last night somehow. Um, yeah, you can see both are here, right? But I don't think that this one is actually shorts. It's kind of funny that there are three watching that one. I wonder the vertical one. There's also a horizontal one that looks better if you're watching, but maybe this is just because this is going to shorts because I send it up as vertical. I don't know if anybody's able to in a position where they could chat, but if you're seeing the vertical one on YouTube Shorts, that would be good to know. Hey Mel, doing all right. How are you doing? I'm trying to figure out why, if I'm appearing on YouTube Shorts with my vertical stream or not, and whether or not I could make it look better for people. Oh dang, there's already 7 people watching the vertical stream, but nobody watching the actual horizontal. I gotta imagine the vertical is not the best, but if people have seen examples of ones that look the best, it could work out. But I figure, if you're on your phone and you're at work or something on your lunch break or on a break and you want to learn a bit about Unreal Engine, it's at least something for you. Yeah, the vertical one's not even showing up in the shorts one because, yeah, you can see here on mine too that it doesn't show up under the shorts category. But maybe people look at the vertical one and think it looks strange and then join up. Let me try Googling here for stream elements, YouTube shorts. Okay. This is most of what game development is, looking at how other people solve problems and getting to it. So let's see what I can find. Okay, so maybe I had to make like a custom one here. Though I couldn't make a custom what do you call it, broadcast URL when I made in stream elements here. Like when I hit there is a custom RNT of TP. Never mind. I guess I could stream that way instead. Maybe that's what you have to do. So I'm going to switch account. I'm going to go into my Idenic. I don't know if any of this stuff is like super secretive, so let me get a good view of this real quick before I share it. I mean, it's probably not under the Earn tab, but maybe I have to say like I want to do shorts streaming. No, that's like about getting like different kinds of money. I don't care. I'm not doing this for the money here. What I really want to do okay, so I have like a shorts page, but I don't see the ability to. Oh, there's a go live. Here we go. Okay, this is looking promising. YouTube live control room. Okay, now I can see like two. I'll show you what I see here. So, these I don't want, so maybe I can like delete them. Two selected. Will this X like delete them? Nope. That just unselects everything. by reverting to one of your videos or default overlay. Okay, that's cool. So I don't know how you like say like, I mean, I guess I could just make these private and that'll temporarily not show people that upcoming streams, that there's like a past upcoming stream that never happened, which I don't know why it happened. Okay, we're gonna move that over because I don't want people to see my stream code, but that could be interesting. Live 2 backup. Yeah, but there's no option here that says like this is a short stream, which is what I would love. I can see both my streams kind of coming in. But what I'd love to do is say like the second one is in the shorts. And they want different bit rates here, which is pretty interesting. Hello, Petra and Jovan. Well, I think I'll leave it as is and just figure that out later and get to actually game development, since that's what's promised. We took about 10 minutes there to take a peek at that. But we'll figure that out later. There doesn't seem to be an easy way to stream to that, so. Oh, the last stream I didn't check out was whether or not Steam kicked off, but luckily Steam's pretty good where like if you're not doing it right, it just doesn't show anything. And so you don't have to worry about that. Yep, and it's fine over there. Just gonna pause that so that way it's not taking up any extra bandwidth than it needs to. All right, so what do we want to do today? I'm going to look at the current state. So one problem with the current game is if you're in a multiplayer game, if you're the host, nothing changes, so you don't even know anyone's connected to your game. And if you're the client, your start button becomes grayed out, so you have some hint that you're in somebody else's game, but there's not a lot of information here about what can happen. So I'm thinking maybe here I want this to change over to say something like only the host and then the host name can start the game, right? And then maybe up here in the upper right, I want to only when you're connected do I want it to show the list of the people in the game. So I think showing an icon maybe that is like the cutout head of the character that you have selected along with your Steam name could be cool. And I have some various ideas how to do that, but I am not an expert at it. So Control P, and then we're going to go look at our WBP main menu here. Menu main. And I don't think that you necessarily need to see it when you're changing your character or when you're in your upgrades or settings. So I think I will put it on this one. If I wanted to put it on the wider one, I would want to put it in this like WPP menu base. But I don't think I want to have to think whether or not it covers up something important for everybody here. So you can see here that it's like a little bit wider than it needs to be because we want to account for widescreen. But really what we're going to want to do is how do we have this set up? So we have a content slot, then we have a canvas panel, then we have an overlay, vertical box. What are people doing with this vertical box? Oh, interesting. Okay, so they put that in the vertical box, I guess, to try to like make it a little bit more. They put a spacer. That's genius. There. So I kind of see what they were thinking there. We definitely don't want to be in that. I think that just kind of overcomplicates things for us. So we'll go ahead and close that. So we're not going to be inside that vertical box. So we're going to be inside this overlay. There's a scale box, which has the image in it. I don't think we need to have a scale box. I really think that this overlay is kind of showing what we want here. But maybe we just go straight into the canvas panel, because canvas panels also act as overlays and they can hold multiple things. So let's go ahead with that. And so we'll plan to put our element here in the upper right. But I don't want to, I want this to be a standalone thing. Then we can move it if we don't want it there. If we want to put it in the game and stuff, we'll be able to put it anywhere that we want. So let's go ahead and create a new asset. It's not particularly a main menu, but it might be the best folder to put it in. I could go up and just put it in straight UI, but that's getting a little bit complicated too. But I think it's kind of the right place. So we'll just go ahead and put it here. We'll worry about if things get too hard later. So we're going to make a user widget. Yeah, we're going to make a user widget. So we just right click blueprint, user widget. And this is just a simple new widget. We call this WB for widget blueprint and call it like connected player list or something, maybe is a good name for us. And we're here. So this is definitely going to be a vertical box because we're going to want it. We're going to want it to kind of expand downwards and things as like more and more people fill this up. So I think a vertical box makes a lot of sense. And we can also like collapse this box too if you're the only one in the game or things like that. So we'll go ahead and vertical box and add it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a bunch of little tiny ones that we want to mess with. And what I could do is I can make the widget now, but I think it makes it a little bit harder to see. So I can always use this and then move the widget later. Well, maybe I just move it later because there's going to be a lot of like code and blueprint nodes too. So that'll hold the list, right? And then I really want to kind of create another widget here too. I'm going to call this one. This is going to hold just the player, just one player. So this is going to be WPP. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, did I just make something called like WVP with nothing? Oh, that's not good that that's a question mark. I think that that's important, maybe. Question mark means that like source control isn't tracking it. It doesn't know what to do with it yet, so it might not be added. But maybe that was like a temporary project I was doing. I don't see it. And it didn't pop up here, so I don't think I actually made it. One thing I can do is I can like submit content and see what I've got in here. So I made this like empty user widget. So I probably didn't name it anything. So I should just delete that real quick. Well, that's kind of concerning. That's not what I did just now. This might have been when I was solving another bug and I just never deleted it. So I'm going to ignore that. I didn't actually create one apparently. User widget. Select, we're going to call this one WBP connected player, right? And this is going to be just one item that goes in there. We'll save that so it starts to get picked up by source control. And this one will probably be like a horizontal box as a main with a few items in it. So, one of those one will be an icon. So we're going to look for like a texture image, I think actually. Yep. So we'll have an image to show your character. We'll have a text box to show your name. And what else? Do we want anything else? I kind of thought that it might be cool too. Is like we have the image of the person's name, and then we have like your Steam username, so like Blue Fire. And then we then tell you, we have like an icon of your prima materia, and we have like how much prima materia you have versus spent here. That way people can help understand how strong each player in their lobby is and kind of know whether or not they're done buying their upgrades or not, even if they weren't on chat with one another. So let's go see what we can do on that. And so we'll rename this image to be player character, player name, then we'll have another image, and we will have some new text. And I like to just, I'll show you here, do 3 text box. I know that I don't have to do it this way, but this would be like current prima, or let's call it unspent prima materia, right? And then this one will be just the slash. And then this one will be total earned prima materia, right? And we'll put in some fake data here. So this might be like, I don't know, 319K or something, right? Because I want to let people know that it'll look like that. This one will actually always just be space/space, right? And then this one might be like, you know, maybe I have like an unspent of like 893 or something, right? And this one will be something like player name here, and that will be an image, which I'll figure out later, and that will be the prima materia UI, which I should have. There we go. And one thing to note is it's going to look something more like this. At the end of the day, I haven't really figured out how to make this look right when you like open it up. So I kind of get close, and it kind of gives me a hint as to like how it's going to react. So you can see here it doesn't quite kind of squish and grow as dynamically as I'd like yet, but there's a few reasons for that. So one thing is that we want to take these four, and we want them to be right aligned. Call this materia icon, right? I thought if they were right aligned, they would just pop over to the right. Oh no, right alignment is just, okay, yeah, we'll just tell them to fill up their whole box. So if you want something right aligned, one nice way to do it is just to put a spacer, and then we just say fill, and then that'll just like push, and then as this goes like this, we'll get the result that we intend. And we'll leave it at 1-1, which is fine. And player character, this will be like Cersei's icon. What did we call it? That's not bad. We'll make it look okay later. We're just trying to get the idea. And so now we have the basic, and what would happen is we would come over here, and we can kind of preview it because we can now see connected player here. And what would happen is they would all kind of like stock like this, right? And then on the main menu, we would then get our list, right? And we'd put it here. And I'm gonna lock and then unlock that, then lock that, and then unlock that. And so maybe I can click it. Oh, it's because it's not that big. That's kind of interesting, even when I tell it to be that small. So I need to tell it to respect that. But really what we're going to do, I don't know. I probably want it something like that big, right? So if I wrap this with a size box, I thought it might respect it at that point, but it did not. How does this work? Oh, I see, because they won't scale down. So these images want to be that. So I need to wrap those images down. They're the ones that are causing the problem. So we'll just wrap this with a scale box because we want it to not get corrupted and get stretched. And we'll wrap this one also with a scale box. Oops, not replace. Wrap. Scale. And so now they won't, and now as it gets smaller, it'll be fine, right? The text doesn't scale, so maybe we just wrap the entire thing now with the scale box. But I want to make sure that these like individually have like kind of the correct scaling. So I think if I just wrap this with a scale box. Okay, that's very interesting. So now, like, I can kind of guarantee that the whole thing kind of behaves the same, and so I'll just like make the size of these images where I want it to be. But now if I come back here, right, it will try to some degree, respect the size of this. I find it interesting that they don't just like jump up there. So that's also kind of another thing. And it might be that these need to like always kind of align towards the top maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure why that happens. We'll look into that later. Because really what I want to happen, yeah, this is doing what I want, right? You can kind of see here. And I wonder if I did that. Okay. So this is behaving how I expect it to behave. But this is not. Do I need to like tell things to like align to the top? Because this is the alignment that it has to the size box. We'll replace with child and see if that fixes it. It does not. You know, if it's kind of like big enough, then it doesn't. But it's like here, it's like almost like it thinks that there's some brokenness. But before we go into those details, I'm sure that I can get our artist to help me out with that. I will focus here. So it could be that this is, you know, this, I always want this to kind of like be to the upper right. I doubt that's what's causing. Now it's always in the upper right, so that's getting closer. That's getting closer to how I want it to behave, but I'd love this guy to just pop up there. But I don't know why. Like, is it that these need to be like always to the upper right? Maybe I needed both set. No. Undo what I did there. But this one's more correct to how I want it to behave, so we'll leave it as is there. So how do we actually get the information? We'll go into the graph and go into blueprints here. And what we want to do is get information about the connected player. So a lot of our logic will actually live in this connected player list. It'll manage how many there are and then adding and removing it. So this one just needs to have some variables for us to change. So luckily we name them nicely. So we're going to change that to image, and we're going to make sure that's a variable, that's a variable, that one's a variable, and then that one's a variable. So you hit control, you can just select what you want. So all these are now variables, so they'll appear right here. And that means that we can kind of set them to. So we'll want to make sure that it's kind of reading what's happening with different players and then changing. So connected players right here. So on initialized. On initialize, I think, is the best function to use in widgets. Because it only fires once. So it's pretty useful. The construct and pre-construct can get called multiple times, so you can kind of end up doing like extra work. The one thing that I've found a note is that for some reason, some variables don't get set on the first frame for the widget. So I always delay one tick on widgets, and that helps a ton in like just getting rid of weird problems. And so what we want to do is we probably want to get the game state, I think. And let's see if on the game state there's like a bind to like connection. because on the game state there is this thing called the player array, which holds like a lot of information about the players. So and everybody's kind of aware about that information. So so it'll be on all the clients, right? On the server, you know, we could loop through like the player controllers, right? So we could like try to figure out like how many player controllers there were, and then loop through them, and then look at that, or you know, use this get all player controllers that I made. But yeah, you can see here like only the server knows. So so really, what we want to do is make sure that people's player states end up storing their information, and then we can go through and then see. But what I'm trying to understand is like if there's a way that I could, if there's a default event that I can bind to about like players connecting. So sometimes they're called sessions. So here you can like find, start, update session is promising. Join session. Could be an interesting one too. So that's pretty neat. So this expects the online session update. Online session subsystem. Session subsystem. So this is off the game instance. So so that's pretty interesting. That's this is a good way to think about it. I don't want to put all of this logic in the connected players because I probably want to do all kinds of things when this joins. So I'll probably write this either in the game state. Yeah, the game state's probably the correct place because I'll probably want to push it out to the player states too. So let's go to our game state. Oh, we have two game states. That's going to be annoying if we want to reuse this. Because I don't think I ever made like a single game state that both game states in here are from. Oh, that's not a WPP. We don't use this one. So the main menu would be like the key one. Do we do anything in here already that like might make me get a shortcut? Huh. That's like concerning that there's nothing in these, but somebody might be doing this for an important reason, so I'm not going to touch it right now. Yeah, we're just off a game state base, which is not the best. Game instance. So the game instance, on the other hand, is got all kinds of great networking information. But how did we write this? I didn't write this part, so I have to do some investigating. Did we ever call connect to server? So it looks like we joined the session there. Auto login. I don't know why we like always have the session name be none, but maybe there's a reason. So this code isn't doing anything. This is code here to stop people from eventually joining with a different version. It's probably not that important for the scale of our game. Might be more important if we have a larger scale game. Okay, so some of that stuff is interesting. So what we're going to look for now is in the game state, do we have a like bind to like someone's session participant join. Perfect. Oh no, but they didn't name the parameters. Okay, and I can't break this for some reason. Because essentially what I'm thinking is like when somebody joins, get their name, add it to their player state, and then that thing can just listen to kind of like the player states and then like review them when changes get made, and then it can update. But unfortunately, I'm not sure. I'm going to Google for the Redpoint US documentation here. Okay, this is great. I'm not logged into anything, so I know that I am not going to leak anything that I shouldn't. Server should be able to see the player controllers. It can retrieve the user ID. So, yeah, apparently, get player state unique ID. Unique net ID should work. I didn't see that, but I guess I didn't look for it. So can we like... Oh, yeah, there it is right there. Okay, maybe we will just be able to like do this. Okay, I think that's just going to tell me they're like on Steam. Is there like a display or anything like that? Oh, and there's the other direction. Okay. I wonder if I can like search for player name. Oh, there we go. Well, that's not very useful, unfortunately. That's for the that's just for that. Hmm. getting me the answer I want either. This was the voice chat, so not that one. Get name, sanitize display names. Wonder what sanitizing does. Probably not moderation. Maybe it's like for characters or something. Get user info. That seems hopeful. Well, uncheck this. What can I get off this? Okay, this is very helpful. So I should be able to get the user info, get it out to their player state, and then I can just read off the player states. Let's go back to where we were, which was probably on the game instance, maybe even the network game instance, and then this can just like start to build up anything. The only thing I don't really like is that it's going to tightly couple some stuff, but maybe I'll figure out a way to do it as I'm going along. And by tightly couple, it means that like I'll need the new player state I'm about to create to be able to do this. Let's see what we've done for player states right now. I don't think we're like heavily using them. It doesn't look like we're probably using them at all. Yep, we have not created a BP player state yet. So let's go ahead and do that. Create a new blueprint. We're going to put that in that, and we're going to name it BP player state. And it's a player state by default. Great. And so really what we want to have here is the information that we want, which is player name, which we'll store as, doesn't really matter. Normally you would store things as text if you want to localize them, but we won't localize that. So I think that they'll probably come through as strings if I took a guess. So I'm going to go ahead and just preemptively do that. Then we want the prima materia amount, current prima materia that player has. That will be a integer, and total prima materia. And actually, current is bad. What I really mean is unspent prima materia. We'll probably want both of those values, and we'll trust the players to basically give that to us. And now that we have that, we just need to so there's kind of a problem that I'm thinking of here and trying to think about how to get around it is like the big thing that your program is in is like the game instance, right? And this stays true as you like transition levels. But things like the level will that you're on, like the main menu, for example, will create, you know, its main menu game state, right? In here. So this is the game state. But like as we transition back and forth, this is going to get destroyed, and that includes, you know, all of the player states too. So I'm gonna have to rebuild this list every time we come back. And get this information, and then like keep it up to date as people connect and disconnect, essentially. So, and then the other thing is like I'm pretty much aware of their player controller, so I'm gonna have to get the information from their player controller, like when they leave and come back, and then then push that all the way either into the player states, right? So maybe I go through the game state, maybe I just go through the player states. So, but the problem is if I put it in the game instance like I want, where all the other connection stuff is, then like that won't get rerun when the level changes. So I won't like rebuild everyone's player state information. And I don't think that I want to just keep a list of like a database list there. In the game instance, and then have people update there and then push it through, because you can't send multiplayer stuff through the game instance, because everyone has their own unique one, so it doesn't replicate like everything else, and you don't really want it to. So I think that's how I'll go ahead and tackle this problem. Oh, this guy's already doing it. Maybe I just take a peek at how how they did it. Oh, I wonder if we have this. So this is pretty helpful. This is like a little bit heavy compared to what I really want, but it may give me a hint as to how they intend me to use their plugin here. Yeah, this is a little bit heavy for what I want, so even if I downloaded this, well, it has an idea of, it has this concept here of like creating this like player data that gets sent around, which could ease up on two of the other things that I'm doing. But I was kind of hoping that this would be a little bit easier. Okay, this is nice. I think this is all I really need. So I think I just need to get the user IDs and just store them in a way that everybody can read them. Which might already be here. This is giving me a lot of information. Yeah. So here I can get their thing, and then theoretically I could like get their user info here, and then do this. Let's delay this for 3 seconds, just so like there's plenty of time for it to boot up and it doesn't fight with everything else on my screen. So what we'll do is maybe we'll give it 5 seconds. I'm streaming. My computer might be a little bit slower. So what we'll do here is this will get created on the main menu, right? And then it'll wait 5 seconds, and then it should print out to me all these people's oops. Is that what that wanted? Display names, which will probably be like junk because I haven't hooked up my multiple Steam accounts yet for the login. But if there's 2, then that's going to be pretty hopeful. I'm also curious like what the server versus the client will see. Yeah, so they both see 2. We saw a client, and I'll show it in here too if you ever want to see it in the output log. So they both printed out, the connected player list printed out too, and they're null probably because I haven't launched my developer authentication tool here. But that's pretty hopeful that I get the information that way. So let me stop. Let me look at this. Let's move this over here. This is where I wish my friend Michael was over here. He set this up, and he always gets on to me for not using it. But I forget how you do it. I've got this just like login screen, but I don't want to sign in with my email because it won't really represent the Steam visual very well. Yeah, it wouldn't represent the Steam visuals very well unless I was actually on Steam. So maybe I just start doing this, and then maybe I just test by like actually shipping the client. Oh, one thing I might test too is if I go to 3 players, do I get 3? Just so I don't go through this route and then find it out. Yep, server, client, and whatever. I'll have 3. So I'm getting 3 things. So I'm gonna trust that like this has stuff. Let me see if I can get. The funny thing is I don't think that I want to do this here. I want to actually just go ahead and do this on the game state. If we put these in functions, it should be easier to move the functions later. Maybe I can even just do it on the player state. What am I? Yeah, maybe I can just do it here. And that function was what? Get unique user net ID. So like, basically like when I start, get the unique user net ID, get my display name, get user. What was that called? Like user query or something? Get user info. Oh yeah, that's right. But if I don't get online subsystem user, right? So we get that, and then we get the user info. Get the user info, and that'll like get the display name, and then we can like set the player name here. Boom. And this is basically the function that I need. Right after this, do this. And let's change this to rep notify. So what'll happen is it'll create this automatic function, and this will run on both the server and the client. And I can create an event dispatcher, which is like player name updated. Right. And anytime that this value changes, it will call this function and or this event dispatcher, which then anybody can bind to. So now people can like bind what? I've never seen that error before. So we'll just change it to replicated. We're going to compile and save, and then we're going to change it to rep notify. On rep player name is already used. I mean, what if I do? Yeah, this is what I expected it to look like. I don't know why. No, it's not in use. Oh, they don't even let me rename this one, which is like pretty insane. So yeah, there's two things that I noticed that are really weird. One is like normally it's this on rep underscore, but it doesn't do the underscore here. If I duplicate this one, oh, interesting. Is player name special in some way? I wonder. Yeah, it must be some kind of like... Yes, I want to do that. I wonder if I do this and then I say rep notify. Yeah, that must just be special. So don't use a string called player name or you'll get that error. So we're going to call that and I'm trying to think, do I want to pass the player name? So I have this option, right, where I could come in here and I could add a signature. So I could like add a new parameter, and Unreal crashed. I could add a signature, and then that way, anytime the player name updated, I could just automatically like update it with the information here. Oh, it's called new blueprint. I don't really want to restore it, so I'll just restore these. And say yes here. So what I could do in oh, did I lose my player state? No, I didn't. What I could do is I could pass it along. Another trick that I like when I'm doing this is like I would just pass along the myself too. So because then people on the other side would get it. Theoretically, they could save a map themselves, but it just saves them work on the other end. And let me show you what I mean by that. So this is a BP player state object reference, so I'll just select the same thing. Right? And we're just going to call this, self. They don't like self, myself. Or, what we can just do is we can call this just BP player state, right? And then down here, we would choose a string, and we would just call this player name. Oh yeah, I forgot. Do not attach until... Ooh. If you ever get this problem, you just right click and you say refresh nodes and it will change. And then boom, boom. And then the cool thing that we could do is we could come over to the connected player now. And like as we make these things, we could like, bind to, we could bind to that event. So we'll have to cast it to the BP player state. Right, and then bind to player name updated, right? Custom evented, and you see we have the player state and the player name, so we could quickly like update it. I don't think that this is going to be super duper necessary for this game. Like if somebody updates their name on Steam, like I don't think I really care to capture that. But this cycle, this sort of pattern, I'll use with the Prima Materia to try to manage that too. So we're back over here to the main. But the nice thing is we could just do this, I guess, on begin play. And technically, this could be the way that I determine. Yeah, I could do that. I could use this method to determine when a new player joins. Catch that event. Oh no, I can't bind to an event on an object that doesn't exist yet. I would need to like call. I need to call an event on the game state that exists from the very beginning. I can't do it here, right? Because if I bind to this event, like how could I bind to the object before the event? I could bind to its destruction and use that, but I might as well do it all in the game state. I'm gonna probably want to make the bigger game state. So okay, so we have that. That'll set the player display name, and then we can just read it. And then we're gonna also want to get this information, but how do we get this information? Because it's actually on the save. I don't think I've actually bothered pushing this anywhere on the server yet. I can't remember either if individuals own their player state, or if the server just owns all the player states. I guess the easiest question to know that most people would ask is like, can you do a server RPC call on player state in Unreal Engine 5? Okay, yeah. Nice. Okay, so player states do. I normally do things over the player controller on their own player state as they have ownership of it. Yep. Okay, so I normally do it on the player controller, but there's no reason we can't do it here. So oh, this is interesting. I actually don't want. This one is actually the one that needs to be. I don't need to get the update because there won't, like when you're in the main menu, you can't get more total premium materia. So I never need to update that. So I can save some pain there by just replicating it out. And then on rep here is we're going to need to make a new event dispatcher, which is unspent prima materia. And then actually we could, can we copy this? Oh, no, we can't. Huh, surprising, but you just can't. What happens if I just copy? That's cool. So I could, can I search? Oh, sometimes you can search here, which is like super helpful. Are mine even here? No, it doesn't look like it. So, you know, new parameters. The second parameter is the integer, which is unspent prima materia. And then this one would be myself, so I might as well. BP player, B player. Right, and I think this is gonna work. And then this is my new unspent. And so now, anytime we're going to get an a update, we can get that update there. And so now we just need to make sure when we start, like if this is me, so if this is me, so if this player state is player state 0, which means it's this client's PC, then I want to do a branch, and only then do I want to do a server RPC call, which is update prima materia. Yeah, I might as well just do it both. I mean, I'll be sending a little bit more information than I need to. Just call that unspent. We're going to call that total. Right. Then we're going to call date prima materia. Right. And I didn't hit compile, so we'll refresh, right? And then I want to get unspent. Oh, somebody made that an N64. Probably me. Dude, if somebody earns that much, I mean, I might as well keep the thing. If somebody earns more than 2 billion, we've made a really successful game. Wait. But somebody made Donald's. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's a pain. Please tell me. Okay. So the painful thing here is that like one is N64 and the other isn't. And I think the one that we actually save is not, right? Okay, so this is yeah. So we don't actually even save it as an N64. So all this like N64 stuff is kind of a waste. But I'm not here to solve every problem in the world right now. And so we're going to switch these back over to integers. Since I'm not getting anything here. We're going to refresh these nodes. So it looks like somebody thought about this idea and then like went halfway to implementing it, but then didn't implement in the right direction. Probably because they realized if they changed it, they'd wipe everyone's current saves out if they didn't have a translation thing. But I'm not that worried about it, so we're just going to do this. And then now all we got to do is set. And we'll just completely trust the client to tell us. Like, if people want to hack their saves in like a non-competitive game, go for it, my friends. And so the important part of what we're doing here is like tell the server how much prima materia we have, right? And the important part here is that we send it over the network just for us, and we tell the server, and then the server will replicate out. When it comes to the unspent, it will, this one will do the onrep, so it'll fire this function, and this one won't do anything, but if people wanted to update it, they could. You know, and if we ever wanted to, we'd just do a simple onrep. And so what this allows us to do is start hooking stuff up and seeing if it's working. So what we can do now is we can get all player states. We can for each it. We can do a cast to VP player state now. And then for each one of these, we're going to create one of these connected player classes. So we're going to create a widget, right? And that's going to be a connected player. Owning player is a self. I guess this is if you're going to do local multiplayer or something, but so I don't need to bother with that. And then I need to add this to the vertical box. So I need to actually make this a variable, I think, to do that. Call this connected player holder, just so it reads nicely in the code. So we're going to get the connected player. We're going to add a child to it. This one is worrisome. Add child to vertical box. Why did they remake that in their plugin? I don't know. But I gotta stay focused. So that should add that. And you know, if I've done everything correctly now, and I wipe these, what should happen is we should see, based on the number of players I have here, there's 3 right now, we should 3 pop up. It might not be big enough to see 3, but let's see what happens. One, two, 3. After 5 seconds, it pops up, and the client has 3 too. So that's really good. Huh, but this didn't work. I wonder if this needs a delay. Let's just give it. How many of these are there? Are there 9? There are 9. So every single one is getting a null reference here. Even waiting some time. And this might not work in offline, but then work in online. Oh, that's a pain in the ass to test. Should I test it now? So basically, this is producing a null reference. Nothing's coming out here, so I can't get the display name. And so that's why we're getting that error. Which I was kind of hoping that like I would just continue to get blank. I don't remember getting this error earlier when we were like pulling the display name and printing it on the widget. But maybe we were. I'm going to try running one more time just to make sure that the delay didn't solve it. Yeah, it did not. Yeah, because this runs, this comes back and looks backwards. Huh. That one's a head scratcher. Because I thought that we had it working when we put it over here. Well, let's keep moving forward for now, and I'll do it. So one thing that I want is I'd like each one of them to like manage their own state. So on this individual one, we're going to create a variable, and we're going to call it player state, and that this is going to expect a BP player state, and I want to make an instance editable and expose it on spawn. And what that's going to do is, now if I come back up here and I refresh this node, it's going to have a player state here that I can pass to it. And so now I don't have to do any managing here, and I can do it all down here, where here I can now say, like, you know, get the player state, get the total prima materia, get the total, get the unspent prima materia, and get the display name. And we can do on initialized again, and this is the one definitely where you like to lay one frame. Oop. So this is where a lot of times, for whatever reason, the player state isn't always available on the first tick, like things that you set from the construction. Because I think that this, like what happens is initialize fires before the object is fully constructed. And so you don't get the variables that you're passing down unless you delay for a tick. But we can easily here, wait, did I not make the player name here? Oh, I did not. Player name, and set the text. We're going to set the text to that, and then we're going to set the text here too. Going to get the total, and we're going to set the text here. Oops, I did the other one. I think both these end up working, but I like this one because I feel like it reads a little bit more clear than the other one, and I don't have to do like the crossing. And then we're just gonna make it look kind of pretty. I'm gonna grab all three of these and hit Q. That's gonna line them. And that should produce some results already. Let's double check. And that is correct there. Oh yeah, I haven't bought any upgrades. I'm actually kind of surprised. Let me see if all of them report 0. Yeah, that one reports 0 as well. Oh, this one does not. Okay, yeah. So this one matches more closer to my expectation. Where it has They should all have the same number here because they're all loading from my save file. I thought that maybe only the server was working here, but oh, I know why this is. I'm actually surprised this one doesn't have 2 as well, because it should have itself in the server. So I need to look into why. That might be a race condition or something. But I would expect the clients to get the servers and their own, right? But maybe there's like a problem with the third one about like how quickly it happens or something. And there's some kind of race condition. But yeah, the reason for this being like this is let me just show instead of talking about it, is because I did a misclick. So right here, you can see this is just a custom event. So this is just not doing what we want. Really what we want this to do is we want to run this on the server. And now when this runs on the server, we're going to see some results. We're not going to get everything because I haven't hooked up the part where like it hasn't worked. I also think that we're not getting the results either because I wonder if some of these clients, like they don't hit the, I wonder if like these 2 clients count as being on the same PC and thus my little equal sign doesn't work. There's one way to see that. So what we're going to do here is disable the nodes. Did I not set them up on this PC yet? Did my settings get wiped, maybe? Yep. Control N. Control page up. And then enable nodes. What always versus? I probably want always because I don't know why. I don't know. This is not always, so we'll just do that. But this lets me hit Control Home End, and I can set things to like where do I want them to run. So it could be very useful. And one of the cool things is that this even works on the getter node, so you can like get null values and stuff by like disabling a node to ensure that you get a null value. But we're just gonna set this to disabled for now and just skip all these nodes, so I stop getting the error. I can focus on the thing in front of me, which is coming over here and seeing what seeing how many times this runs. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it does run 3 times. I thought we'd only see 2 run there, but the fact that it runs 3 times is strange. Also, we don't always get the same results in terms of like the layout, so it probably is just a race condition, and they're probably all running. And as soon as I fix my code to do that, maybe it'll just work. Yeah, that one, they all look, these 2 look the same, the other one looks different. But remember, we did a lot of work already, so all we need to do now is go to the connected players, this guy, and we're just going to want to bind to unspent materia updated. Custom. Oops, I didn't rename that parameter. Let's do that so I don't get... And we're basically just going to do the same thing here. And I know there's going to be one problem with the spent, but I'm kind of curious if this is going to resolve the unspent problem that we've been seeing. I wonder if we're just getting the packets late. Don't need to see that anymore. So we kind of solved the problem. They all kind of look the same now. So there's kind of a curious problem about why does one show 0? Does it not access the save correctly? So let's go take a look at that. Also, I'm curious, do I have like an index or something here? Non-zero, non-zero. Wait, what? So the strange thing here is this only ran twice. I could have swore this runs 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Do they all send the right amount? There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Oh. Okay, so maybe the player state index here is Super strange. The player state of the given index. This will work on both the client and server, and the index will be consistent. I'm actually more concerned that 2 work now. I would kind of expect only 1. Because I think... Well, maybe like initially you think your player index 0 or something, but then like after you get an update from the server, you don't believe so. So what do we really need to check? Maybe like is owner own? Do I have? Maybe I need to like get the owner, which I believe the player state is owned by the player controller, and then get player controller 0. And maybe this result. Actually, I don't have to worry. I can just say, be a little bit more clear about it for anybody else coming along. I can say get the player controller. And if the player controller is 0 state, do it. And this should definitely work. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All of them work now. Yep. Everybody sees all 3. So now I can explain now that I've got the answer. So apparently, yeah, the player state index matches maybe temporarily in like the first few frames because you saw 2 getting updated there. But I don't know how 2 could have the player state 0 index. So it seems like once you get the initial replication, maybe your player state index updates. And so like the first client that gets created is like super fast. It creates its player states. It thinks that its player state index is 0, so it sends it off to the server, and the server's like, yeah, you're allowed to do this, and then it changes it. And then on the next frame, it gets the packet. But maybe the third one doesn't because like it gets created a frame after or something. And that's kind of probably why we saw like on things, it probably determined whether or not you hit this and before you got the first packet from the server telling you what your player state index was. But this avoids that. This avoids that and lets us do everything that we expect to be able to do. And so this is going to have a race condition too, where if your widget gets created before this is insane. I think I had to do the same thing for the spent. Yeah, because it's going to create a bug. So what could happen, right, is like there are 2 players connected to the, well, like there's a player in a server, right? And so the information's already there, right? You connect to the game, right? But while you're connecting, you're creating the scene, and you create the little widget and the top, and then you fill out your widget, right, before you get the first packet. And so you don't see anybody, and it's like maybe you see the player here, you know that he's connected, but you don't have his information. Oh wait, no, actually you can't do that. Yeah, because if you got that guy's player state, you'll have the correct one. It won't be 0 for you. Yeah, that's probably okay then. Okay, I'm not worried about that anymore. I thought maybe there would be a way where you would get the total earned and it would be 0, and then it would update. And since we aren't doing this, you won't get it. But I don't think that's actually possible. So this should be pretty healthy. And the nice thing is that this doesn't cause any networking. So technically what I could do to save myself some development time is just like create this like on a pulse, and like every 5 seconds just re-get it, and then I don't have to worry about like figuring out when somebody connects to the server and like doing another call here. I could dodge like a lot and just like check like every 3 seconds or something, right? Because creating widgets isn't really that expensive. So I could like set a timer, and then every 3 seconds I could wipe everything and then recreate it all. And then anybody that joins, they just won't appear for like 3 seconds. But that's not that big of a deal. Huh. Somebody's at the door. Oh, I hope it's not my friend to come eat. Oh, that's probably the end of my stream today. I didn't even realize it was 5:30. We made some good progress, and I will be back again on Monday. If not, maybe one of the nights over the weekend. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will keep showing up and hope you do too, and encourage you to make your own games. So it's super fun, and yeah, if you ever have any questions, put them in chat. I didn't do a great job reading chat, but seems like it's all good. So see you later.